Hello, my wonderful people. How are you all doing today? I hope you're good. Welcome to LES Matters TV. Today, I'm going to be talking about tips for getting children back to school. Okay, so if you're a parent, a guardian, okay, so I'm going to be giving tips on how you could prepare children back to school during this pandemic. Okay, so the first priority should be, as a parent or as a guardian, talking to these children, okay, about going back to school. Okay, so if you're a parent of young children or you're a parent of teenagers, okay, so this is applicable to all parents in relation to getting children back to either school or preschool. Okay, so as we all know, we are in a pandemic situation at the moment in relation to COVID-19. Okay, and the situation that we have now, it's a new norm. Okay, so and this COVID-19, it's still there. Okay, so it's very important as a parent in relation to preparing your children back to school. You need to engage in discussion with these children. Okay, so it is important. As you all know, children going back to school is going to lead to a lot of stress. Okay, so because these children, they've been home since, God knows, like mine, they've been home since March. Okay, and they're just going back, the September, first week of September. So you can see it's it's a new normality for this group of children, because they are not used to routine already. Before the pandemic, they were in school, they have the routine in school. Maybe they go to school at 9 o'clock, they finish at 3 o'clock, or they go to preschool at 7 o'clock, or half 7 and 8 and finish at 5 o'clock. But because of the pandemic, this group of children have been home since March, and the country that I am now, Ireland, they're just back to school. The secondary school back to school from end of August, and then the primary school back to school from 1st of September. So you can see that the children will be stressed already, going back to school in relation to going back to new routine, because it's routine, like when they are home, maybe they don't have a set of routine, or the routine is a little bit flexible, but in relation to school, the routines are there. Okay, so as a parent, okay, so you need to talk to your children, okay, because these children, like I said earlier, they're already stressed. Okay, so and you need to make sure you talk to this group of children in relation to their mental health. Okay, so because some of these children, like the country that I am now, Ireland, they've been home since March, and they're kind of like they are not interacting with their friends because they didn't have the opportunity to to visit friends. They don't have the opportunity to visit family members because of the pandemic. So it's a lot of stress already. It has reduced the social interactions that children have with people around them. And according to research, it is really important that children engage with people around them. But because as a result of the pandemic, in relation to curbing this pandemic, the social interactions of children have been limited since March. Okay, so now getting these children back to school. Okay, so it's really important that you look after their mental health, you engage in discussion with this group of children. And in relation to discussion, it could be formal or informal discussion. Okay, so formal discussion is when you sit down with this group of children and ask them open-ended questions. Or informal discussion could be maybe you're cooking and the child is beside you rather, and you're just engaging discussion with this child. Okay, so it's really important for their mental health now. And when you want to ask questions with children, make sure it's open-ended question. Okay, it's not a question that you say, how was school today? It has to be a question that you ask them, how was school today? Not a question that, did you enjoy school? If you ask them, did you enjoy school today, it's oh yes or no. But if you ask them, how was school today, it will make the children will want to tell you how has their day been and all that. Okay, so it's really important in relation to children's mental health. Okay, so as parents, okay, whether you're a parent or a guardian, that you need to check on those children. Okay, frequently checking on them, asking them questions, engaging in discussion with them. Okay, and in relation to engaging in discussion with children, okay, so make sure there's no distraction, because it has to be, you want the children to get your attention. So take away anything that has to do with screen. Okay, maybe television should not be on, mobile phone should be away for both, the parents and the children as well, so that there'll be verbal contact, like the children will maintain eye contact, they would look at you, they will engage in your discussion. Okay, so it's really important. And getting the children back to school, like I said, you need to sit them down, have a talk with them that as they go back to school, there's going to be changes. Okay, so you need to let those children know that there will be changes definitely, and talk about those changes to the children. Okay, like where I am, this country that I am, before the children went back to school, they've already sent us an email about the changes that those children should expect when they go back to school. So if you're in that kind of category as well, maybe the school that your children are going to, you've already gotten the email. So make sure you have a discussion around the changes that the children will be expecting, you know. Talk to these children at least so that they will have an idea of what to expect when they go back to school. Because like I said, you don't just, you know, expect children to just settle in like that. It takes time. Okay, so you need to talk to them about the rules, okay, about social distancing in school. It's a pity, you know, when children go back to school now, they can't really, you know, touch their friends. Okay, so part of the new rules is they can't touch their friends, they can't hug their friends, and you can know that it's not easy for children, especially we as adults as well. You know, you're telling us we can't hug our friends. We can understand, but when we talk about especially children from, let's talk about children from birth to 6 years now, it's going to be difficult for this group of children. You're saying to them, oh, you can't hug your friends, you can't shake your friends, you know, you have to maintain social distancing. But you just have to keep to remind this group of children, okay, about social distancing, you know. When they go back to school, you know, they should obey the rules in the school, like social distancing, you know, wash their hands regularly. Okay, make sure you stress it to your children when they go back to school, they should wash their hands regularly. It's really important, okay, that the children need to wash their hands, you know, like preschool as well, young children, you know, constant reminder, be telling them about the benefits of, you know, that they have to wash their hands for their own safety. You know, when they use the toilet, you know, in the school, they have to wash their hands, and then they need to use a paper towel to dry their hands. Okay, so you could get a paper towel like this. Like for example, in my children's school, they are being told that when they come back to school, they need to come with a paper towel like this, you know, so that whenever they go to toilet, they can use this to clean their hands and drop it in the bin. Okay, so if you're a parent, your children going back to school, you could get them a paper towel like this and tell the children that whenever they finish, you know, using this paper towel, they should dispose it appropriately into the bin. Okay, so it's really important that you let them know that they should throw the paper towel in the bin. They should not just leave, you know, leave the paper towel wherever they feel they can. So tell them to dispose it into the bin, and when they want to dispose the paper towel into the bin, let them know that they can't use their hands to open the bin. Okay, so the handle will be there, so they can use their feet, you know, to press the handle, and then the bin will open, and then they can dispose the paper towel into the bin. Okay, so it's very important. So you let them know whenever they want to cough as well, they should cough into their elbow or they should cough into the tissue. Okay, so it's important because we all know is in relation to this pandemic, you know, it's easily transferable by the air. So just say to your children, let them know that constant reminder, like I said, especially from birth to 6 years, you don't expect them to know this rule once, so it's, you have to keep reminding them, you have to keep telling them they should sneeze or cough into the elbow or use the paper towel, you know, maintain social distancing when they want to talk to their friends as well. So, you know, and you know, it's a constant reminder. You have to keep reminding these children these rules because it's not easy. Like I said, it's a new norm, and you need to let the children know that, okay, yes, these are the things that they have to do. And when the children come back to school as well, ask them questions. Like I said earlier, open-ended question: how was your day? So talk to them about the changes, like what I did with mine. You know, ask them, so what were the changes that came up in school, you know, and in relation to it's strange for these children. It's going to be strange for them, like, oh, you can't really move closer to your friends, you know, you can't come to your teacher, or your teacher, if they want to, like the teachers now in my children's school, they wear the face mask now for protection. So it's going to be new for children. Now let's bring it back to preschool. You know, from back to 6 years, it's going to really be difficult and challenging for this group of children, because sometimes, like you say to children, wash your hands, they would ask you why. You know, that age from birth to 6 years, they're so curious. Oh, why do I have to do this? Why do I have to do that? But you just have to explain to them. Like for example, from birth to 6 years, you can't really explain to children, they won't really understand. So you just have to stress that, oh, you have to wash your hands, okay, whenever you cough, you know, cough into your elbow, or you give them tissue paper. Okay, so it's really important that you as the parents, your priority should be, you know, talking to your children about going back to school, and whenever they come back from school as well, you know, engage them in discussions about the new norms, okay, so that the children will be settled into the new norms, okay. So these are just a few tips that I feel it's important in relation to getting children back to school. Thank you so much for watching and listening, and see you in the next time in my next episode. Take care and mind yourself.